I'd come here with my hair in perfection, my makeup. I had kids, and I went out the
Yes.
window.
Too much.
But I know what perfection. I know what perfection is,
Yes.
and it comes. I'm telling you, you have childcare centers. You have different avenues. You come up with 8 avenues
Mm-hmm.
of money factors,
Okay.
money factories. And what are those factors? One could be selling the book.
Yeah.
One
Speaking.
is doing speaking about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One is actually certifying people with it.
Mm-hmm.
One is talking to government organizations, right? And who's under the government organizations? Social media, no, not social media, social
Social
workers,
workers. Mm-hmm.
psychiatrists.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are, when I say psychiatrists and all of them, they have those with dealing with children.
Yes.
So children,
Yes.
meaning they should have a book in their office.
Yes.
So get the email list
Or
and
be a
introduce
speaker at their
yourself.
conference and then sign my books outside.
Yeah, exactly. And then once that's going to be your door. After you
Yes.
speak, you have books, but now you have your books, you'll capture those email lists. You get to the
Mm-hmm.
email list of the government, email list of schools, email list of superintendents, email list of psychiatrists, email list of of
Mm-hmm.
social workers. So whatever those 8 streams are, get to the front of the room of those conferences for those 8 places so people can hear you.
I
You
love
are an
this.
excellent speaker.
Thank
You are
you.
ready for TED. You
Thank you.
have the energy, you have the passion, you have the credibility. You're beautiful. What the
Thank
heck?
you.
You don't need anything else. You got the book.
Just go
Okay.
do it. Yeah, go
Just
go
go do it.
do
You know what I'm
it.
saying? The
Yeah.
world is waiting for you. It is.
I love this.
The
Thank
world is
you.
waiting for you. You are $1 million speaker.
Thank you.
You
I'm
know,
gonna write
so
not belief anymore. It's knowing.
it's known.
I like that.
Yeah, the belief is it. When Reagan was in the room, did you look in there, look at her and say, "I believe Reagan is mine"?
No, I know she
You,
is.
she knew she was.
This is
Exactly.
mine. Mm-hmm.
You knew she was yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference. It's a shift.
Okay. This is my baby. So I'm gonna do that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna treat it more like my baby
yeah.
because
Treat it like
there's
a
more
baby.
grace and there's more patience and there's more
That's it.
yeah,
Treat it like a baby.
absolutely. Okay, look at
Yeah.
this, Carla.
You
Thank
know
you
what I'm
so
saying?
much.
So, but this is why I'm here. God put this on my heart to do in 2018, but out of perfectionism, I waited till pandemic to start it.
Did you
And
really?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people were like, they were saying that whatever I do, whatever I'm saying, I'm inspiring,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how the inspiring part came. But the journey was, of course, of people going through their life, and I've worked with families, thousands of families,
Yeah.
and in the community. And so what ended up happening is like people would reach out to me in Facebook in different ways. And
Mm.
Carla, I heard you here. You've inspired me to start a business. You
Oh.
inspired me to look back in life. They were thinking of people trying to commit suicide and all this
Yes.
crazy stuff. And I'm
Yes.
like, okay, I got to turn this on. I have to turn this on. And
Yes.
God has given me the vision to do this.
Yes. The
And I'm over here.
platform.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I'm over here.
Absolutely.
Oh, I should, maybe I need, turn it on, Carla.
Yeah.
Start, and let whatever happen. So I already have. He's already telling me that I'm gonna have a conference. That I'm gonna be
Yes.
about you. All of that stuff.
Yes.
And you're gonna be. I will be inviting you
I
to
was
the
gonna say I
conference.
better be a speaker at this conference. Yes. So yes,
So,
I'm in.
but you see what I'm saying? It's a whole nother thing that's gonna happen behind this. This is just
Yeah.
beginning.
This is just a
I'm.
start.
This is just the beginning for
So
me.
that's your vessel, and then Fresno is going to be my vessel, and we're gonna
That's it.
yes. I do.
Find
I
your.
do feel the calling part though, because I remember thinking back in grad school even that I was going to be this. I was going to work on the cases, and I was really going to understand the detective's motives. And this mom came in one day, and she just said, "I want to know what the fuck happened to my daughter." And they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, Ashley will tell you." And I thought, what?
Yeah.
I was this
Yeah.
young grad student, and it was something about. I remember going home and going, "You have the platform to help families like this. Use it." And then
Yeah.
it's crazy because by helping those families, they actually helped me
That's
down the
it.
road. Yep. It
That's
came
it.
back. The
It comes back full
yeah,
force, full
almost the love
circle.
and care I gave so freely got given back in a different form to me. And then it's now going, okay, then I'm going to translate and just like repackage it and do
Yeah.
something now that doesn't crush my soul because education, my
Yeah.
my role because of the treatment of a couple colleagues, it's just sucked my soul. And I'm going, there's too many beautiful things that I
Yeah.
could be doing.
One of your avenues too is the police department
Yes, yes,
and
yes, yes,
the fire department, the
yes,
responders, the hospitals. right? So how
Yep.
many we have so far? I'm trying to identify
Tons.
as many
We
as I
have
can.
prisons. We forgot
We're
to.
literally building your 8-figure business right now.
I like it.
It is.
Good
It is
business
what it
partner.
is.
Yes. I
All
love
right.
the social workers is I've actually been partnering with some here to start that process. And I think having, even if it's just a couple sheets that are curriculum guiders, I think would be really powerful to say, hey, here's how you could talk about some of these things using Fresno as the
Mm-hmm.
prompt.
A
To
curriculums.
mm-hmm,
So you have to have a vertical, and that vertical has the book.
mm-hmm,
From the book, it has like you said, a curriculum, like a course.
mm-hmm.
And then from the course, it has some therapy sessions, some sessions. So it's like 3 vertical up.
Yes. Okay.
And then the fourth one about it is the speech, like someone inviting you in to speak.
Yes.
So it's a vertical up
I like
of what
that.
you do with that book.
I like
Now
that.
that is your offers. So
Mm-hmm.
your offer is the book,
Mm-hmm.
a workshop. You can do a course.
Mm-hmm.
See, right? The workshop is instantaneously one day.
Yes.
You could do a speaking engagement,
Mm-hmm.
then you could do a course, a
I love that.
curriculum with those who are the responders. Who are the responders? The psychiatrists, the psychologists,
Mm-hmm.
the social worker, the police officers. So now you have to do a course with them.
I
Or
like
they can have you come in and just do a 1 hour speech, or they can do a all-day workshop.
that.
There's
Mm-hmm.
3 different in the vertical of aspect of it. And maybe they don't bring you in, but they just buy the book and have it in their office.
Yes, which is also awesome. Yeah,
So there's four avenues of offers that's connected to starting with the TED Talk.
that would be. And then you could almost have the books built into the packages too. So like if you have this, you get 10 copies of the book
That's
or
it.
yeah,
That's it. That's
yeah.
it. So it becomes an avenue for you to,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end, your number 5, this is where you start certifying people to do your work.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So they become, whatever the next generation of grief coaches,
That's amazing.
certified coaches under
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Ashley. Is he?
Yeah, that's amazing. You're awesome. God
So
uses you good, girl.
listen, it's not for me. See, that's what people forget. What's not for you, don't hold it in your heart. Give it up.
Yes. Yes.
But what a lot of people do, they like, well, and I know I'm a coach. I know I can get paid thousands, and some, I do have some clients
Yes.
that do pay
Yes.
thousands.
Yes.
But when it's upon my heart
When it
to
just
give it,
comes, yeah, you just tell it.
that's what I get paid for this. Yeah.
Yes.
So no, you have your business in front of you. So
Thank you
just
so
you
much.
have the responders, you have the hospitals, you
Yes.
have the
I love even
psychiatrists,
the literacy programs for the children of prisoners and stuff because
the
yeah.
prisons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, how many do you have so far?
Way too many.
I'm seeing 8.
Yes. Okay. Then I'm gonna have to tailor it down to our 8.
Well, some could be groups, like
That's true
psychiatrists,
too.
psychologists, and social worker are one
They're
group.
all one.
Speech pathologists, that's a group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you have the responders,
Yes.
police, or fire department, hospitals. Those are 3.
Yes.
Those are 2. Then you have government. The
Mm-hmm.
government could be, I don't know, maybe,
Schools.
exactly, you could do education slash government,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I like
however
it.
you
I'm gonna
come,
send
it's
you.
just,
I'm gonna be emailing you my 8 when I narrow them, when I couple them, just so you know that I did my homework.
yeah. So let's try to salvage some of this podcast
Yes, let's
here.
do it. Let's do it. And
So,
seen it.
so what is your why? Why are you on this journey? Not only about your book, but why are you on this journey to help others when regards to trauma, victimization, and all of those great things of grief?
It's funny because it actually starts at the center for me. So I remember kissing Buddy goodbye in the hospital and I said, I'm going to give your daughter a magical life. And I had no concept of how I was going to do it because for me, he was the epitome of an amazing father and human.
Mhm.
And I thought, like, why me? Why am I the one who you would leave behind? Because I'm high strung and I'm, OCD and I'm anxious. And I said, I promise you, the life you would have given that baby, I'm going to give to her. And I remember that was so powerful to me. And so that really was what I started this journey with. And then someone said, but the beauty of that is that you get the magic too, and you get to
Mm,
enjoy the magic as well. So you're actually creating a magical life for you girls. And then for me, it's about this ability that I feel blessed with the platform, with the experience, with the storytelling ability to use my skills to help other people. And
that's
so,
beautiful.
yeah, I feel like sometimes if you know that you have this gift, to hoard it is selfish. And so you just
Yeah,
say, okay, if God picked me to use me as a mouthpiece, maybe that's why I've experienced some of the things. I don't think he caused them, but I think I can use the trauma in my history
yeah,
to help other people. And so it's really, really giving purpose to, and not saying in spite of these things, I'm going to be able to be successful or happy or, whatever. It's because of those things. I'm actually going to use them to weave them into my life and be a better woman, a
yeah,
better friend, a businesswoman. And so leading with my heart and my mind and my platform that I have, I think sometimes you just can't say no to what seems so easily
yeah.
paved out in front of you in a path that you have to fight to get down.
Wow. And so, if you had to give advice to those who are listening, remember we talked about this just a little bit on the brief end of things, but you were mentioning that like how preparation, you can't really prepare for something like this.
No.
But what would be some steps a person can do to help them cope if they are going through trauma or if they find themselves heading toward trauma? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are some coping mechanisms that they can start and paying attention to?
I think one of the best things we can equip ourselves with is our voice and the ability to communicate, and then trying to
Mhm.
and praying that you also get the skill to listen, because some of the hardest parts of grief and trauma and loss is that people don't tell their stories because of shame and guilt,
Yeah,
and people
yeah,
don't listen to them. People want to either they're too uncomfortable to listen, which is one problem, but then you also
yes,
have the fixers in the world that say like, oh, okay, I'm going to explain away your trauma, or it's been 2 years, you need to
yeah,
stop with the trauma. And so I think my number the biggest piece of armor you can put on yourself is that ability to articulate your needs, your wants, your fears, and kind of harness vulnerability as a power and
mm,
say, some people may take advantage of it and some people may hurt you because of it, but to me, I have found vulnerability to be one of
I
the
like that.
strongest tools in my arsenal, because it has caused heartbreak, it has caused me
Mhm.
to lose people, but I also think I've gained the people, tools, things that I need in my life
Yeah, yeah,
because of
because of
that vulnerability. So the ability to articulate, the ability to listen, and to really discuss the things you need or want. For me, one of the things that helped me significantly, this is death specific, so not all trauma, but one of my greatest gifts was that Buddy and I had talked so frequently about what we wanted for one another. And it almost gave me permission when he passed away to make big decisions that I didn't have to say, like,
Mhm.
what would he have wanted for us? What would he have wanted for his body, for,
You
all of these
knew.
different things. And so we were so young and had talked about, I want to be cremated. I want I want you to love again. I mean, all of these things that we had significantly, very seriously talked about. It was bizarre looking back of, like, why
Yeah,
would we have
yeah,
talked about that? And I think the only explanation is that, I studied homicide. And so I would come home and tell him how grateful I was that I didn't know that kind of pain. And we would talk about like what would happen if we found ourselves in that kind of moment. So articulating things before you think, like trying
yeah,
to just
yeah,
discuss, you can't plan, but trying to discuss, kind of life wishes. I also think trusting yourself and being graceful to yourself are some of the greatest things we can do. There is so much guilt, blame, and shame with any kind of loss, trauma,
yeah,
grief, and trying to, as a community, we owe it to one another to lift that veil. But even as an individual, freeing yourself from that and saying, you can't, looking back, you can blame yourself or try to take responsibility or whatever, if that's what you want to do, but that chains you to the pain. And
yeah,
instead, one of the greatest things I could say is like, you didn't cause this. You didn't cause this. And it's unfair and it stinks. And so you have to kind of, I think, embrace that this is horrible.
Yeah.
And then you have to say, guess what? You do have permission, though, to not be ashamed of it and to fight, to own your narrative. And I talked about this with kids recently, was that, the things that shame us or we're scared people are going to find out or whatever, what happens when you tell it and you own it, that this is who
Yeah.
you are and it is your story? People really can't use it against you when
No,
you've,
no, they can't.
yeah, when you've crafted and said, like, this is me and this is my story. And so I think, like I said, the power of words, um, and always promising yourself that you're going to, try in the morning. And so I think when chapters close, we feel lost. And the reality is that there's more chapters to be
New
written. And
chapters.
as
Yeah.
long as you don't ever stop that ability for those next chapters to be written, then there's hope, right? Some days are dark, some days are terrible. Sometimes you want to rip the new pages out of the book, and that's okay. Just
Mhm.
don't close the book. Don't stop it from being written, because to me, every day I say, I hope today is one of those days that I have a breakthrough. I hope today is one of those days, but I always put my feet on the ground and I always try. And sometimes
Yeah.
it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I think that grace and that grit to say, today might stink and that's okay, but I have tomorrow and I'm going to try again tomorrow.
And
That
and if
forgiveness.
yeah, right. And if you ever if you tear the page off, just tape it back up. There's
Yes,
tape.
don't throw it away.
Put the
That's
tape
exactly
back.
right. That's exactly right. But I think as a community, we have such a long way to go as,
Yeah.
grief support, dealing with trauma. I think out of discomfort, we try
Yeah.
to explain away or blame people for the trauma they're feeling. And so we see that with sexual assault survivors, we see it with homicide survivors, right? It was your fault somehow. Oh, that would never happen to me. The reality is that no one's immune from being hurt, by losing, by, getting broken. We all struggle. And so I think it's very naive, but that's one of the biggest dreams I have for our society, is that we stop trying to explain why bad things happen to people and we just start saying it's bad, and now how do we rally around each other and kind of keep
Yeah.
fighting for good.
Love it. I tell you, and if someone wanted to reach out to you, because I mean, you are a well of knowledge, of wisdom, and I'm sure there's so many people that want to connect with you. How can they reach out to you?
There's two ways. So if you want to reach out to Dr. Ashley Wellman, the criminologist and victimologist, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Dr. Ashley Wellman. And you can also jump on my website, www.ashleywellman.com. But if you want to jump on the wild, whimsical journey of the girl who dances with skeletons in My Friend Fresno, we would love to have you as part of our skeleton crew. So you can jump on and follow us on social media at My Friend Fresno. We're on all platforms. Or you can jump on and shop and play at our website, www.myfriendfresno.com. And for your incredible listeners, I want to offer them the coupon code Journey20, so that when they jump on and they're there to shop and experience the joy of Fresno, that on their entire purchase, they'll be able to save 20% just by putting in that Journey 20 coupon code.
I love it. I appreciate that, and I'm sure they will too. So anyone and it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's a children's book, but really anyone can read the book.
It is amazing, because my hope is that when people open this book, one, it just makes their heart so happy, but two, that they really do see themselves. Are you the stripped down Fresno who's vulnerable and seeking somewhere to fit and someone to understand? Or are you that incredible support person who's Reagan? And as a support person, Reagan tells you at the end of the book how much she's learned about herself as well. Even though Fresno was the one who needed the friend, Reagan really grew as a human being too by being there for him.
Fantastic. And what a great time for now to have this
Yes.
book available in our world. So thank you so much, Dr. Wellman. You
You
have
are
been
so
phenomenal,
welcome.
and I really appreciate you coming on your Inspired Journey platform.
Of course. Thank you so much. Everybody keep plugging away on your journey. Thanks for having me, Carla.
Thank you. Well, everyone, as you noticed, Dr. Wellman have given us so much to think about. Knowing more about who we are and what it is that we do and how we connect with each other is so important. And so getting that book could be a door opener to really finding more about compassion, more about vulnerability, but more about you. So thank you for being here on Your Inspired Journey with Carla Andrews. I look forward to seeing you soon.